same as yesterday, RPE 7, 3 reps. I'm actually focusing on holding at the top a bit more because I kind of found that in my training I hadn't really been holding before the rep, and when I got to comp and I had to hold before the first rep, well before the rep, the only rep, I kind of suffered a little bit. So I kind of just been focusing on just holding for 2 to 3 seconds before I even hit my first rep. Bars are like a fixed width, but they're narrower than I normally train with, which is gonna take a bit of a hit on strength. Yeah, I'm just gonna warm up, see how it goes, and then yeah, try and hit some decent numbers.
Just towards the end of competition prep, which is not necessarily advisable, but in my case had injuries, so I didn't really have a choice. I changed my technique quite dramatically. I changed the width that I was gripping at, and I sort of changed some of the kind of like the line that I was holding while I was dipping. So there was sort of some big changes that actually didn't really seem to hit my numbers at all. I was still hitting the same kind of numbers even though I'd instituted these big changes. So a bit like with my pulls yesterday, I'm just trying to imprint this new technique in my body. So I'm not going to go particularly heavy, but like yesterday it needs to be heavy enough so that I can feel the challenge, but not too heavy that I can't do the rep.
Warming up the triceps. I get a lot of tricep tendonitis, so I always have to warm up my elbows fully. I get a lot of tendonitis everywhere, as you probably can sense a trend here. So yeah, I have a bit of wrist tendonitis, a bit of tricep tendonitis, and a bit of quad tendonitis. So like, to be honest, like apart from that, my body feels pretty great. It's just those little niggles. Some of it is just down to age, you know, just getting older. So, you know, the tendons just need a bit longer to acclimatize to new weights, a bit longer to warm up, and probably can't take as much volume as they used to. I'm just getting better at managing my tendons and knowing, okay, I can't push, you know, 3-4 times a week. I can only maybe push twice a week. Muscle ups maybe once a week, maybe not twice a week. Same with squats. Or like just changing the way I warming up a bit more intensely, especially the tendons. Doing a bit more ISO stuff just to strengthen the tendons and get them kind of acclimatized to the volume before increasing loads and stuff like that. So yeah, just learning, you know, more about my body. And I look at any kind of niggle and injury as an opportunity for me to learn more, so I can pass that information on to my coaches, you know, my students. So yeah, it's never a bad thing.
Actually, to be fair, the battery went about 2 months ago, but
You've been wearing that the whole time and it doesn't work.
I've been wearing it for 2 months, it doesn't work.
You see this?
You have to go to a special shop.
What, to take it off?
No, to get the battery changed.
So why are you wearing it if it don't work?
Because if I'm by a shop, I don't want to not have the watch with me because I've left it at home, and then I'll just leave it for like months.
You reckon you're going to find a shop in the middle of Italy?
Well, do you know what? The shop that got robbed in Lugano, they could have done it.
But would you have went there to do it?
Oh, if they hadn't got robbed, maybe. You don't know.
No, you wouldn't have.
No, there wasn't really time, that's true, but you know. But the shop that got robbed in Lugano could have changed the battery.
It's like me walking around with a dead iWatch for 2 months. Like,
well, it isn't the same thing at all, because you could go to like, I don't know, like an iPhone shop or like various different places. There's about like, you know, there'll be one watch shop in like, you know.
All right, so I'm saying on a day like you're not leaving, I've seen you have this on days you haven't left the villa.
I've had it on for 2 months, Jomei.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
That's what I mean. So I'm saying you could just do that.
Yeah.
And take it off.
Yeah, and put
on
it
the
where?
Days. What do you mean put it where?
We'll put it where?
Why can't you put it in your room?
I can put it in my room, but then I won't put it back on. And then when I'm in a place where there is a shop to change the battery for the watch, I will not have the watch with me.
Comment if you think this makes sense. Comment below if you think that what she's saying makes sense. Yeah. And we'll let the viewers decide.
Yeah, the viewers decide. Okay.
What's this we got on the left? The left wrist.
Left wrist. Just a wrist wrap to take the edge take the edge of the pain off my wrist. Don't normally use wrist wraps. Don't really normally have a need for it, but today, because it's sore, I normally use these for squats, because when I'm doing low bar, I don't have great external rotation, so my wrists tend to take a lot of the brunt of the weight. So I have these actually for squats, but today wrist is a bit dodgy for dips, so I'm using them for dips. Yeah.
Oh, sleeves. I don't know if I bought my elbow sleeves. I'm gonna go and check. So that will make me feel slightly better.
To be honest, I won't even use my sleeves. If I didn't have like a bit of tricep tendonitis, I probably wouldn't use my sleeves at this stage of the program. Funny thing about the sleeves is, like, I use them, but honestly I don't really feel much difference with or without them, and I feel like a lot of that is because the strongest part of my dip is the bottom part of the dip, and it's generally where sleeves help you the most, is at the bottom. But because it's the strongest part of my dip, I generally have quite good explosive power from the bottom. It's the top where I tend to fade out. So, and the sleeves don't really help on the lockout. So I think that's why I don't personally feel much of a difference using sleeves. However, there are people that swear by it, and I think generally they don't have a strong bottom portion of their dip, so hence they get the bounce from the sleeve. So yeah, if you're one of the people that don't really feel any difference with sleeves, you're probably just strong in the bottom position. And if you do feel a big difference, it's probably because your bottom position isn't, as strong as maybe the top half of your dip. So yeah, that's my theory anyway. But yeah, today I'm just wearing these sleeves just keeps the elbows a bit warm. My physio as well said that, especially I had bursitis on this elbow. Oops. I had bursitis on the left elbow for a few weeks, so she just advised me anytime I'm pushing or I'm doing muscle ups, I need to wear an elbow sleeve on my left arm. So yeah, that's another reason.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like I'm just talking about injuries. All I'm talking about is injuries. This is a life.
So you're advertising the sport.
I'm advertising
really
the sport.
well, eh?
I'm advertising the sport. This is like, best sport. Never get injured. No, it's like any sport though, right? Any sport, you're gonna have injuries. You're gonna have niggles. Over the years, you're gonna pick up little things. It's something that comes with the territory.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, if you're competing in a sport and you're competing essentially at the highest level, I mean, it's part of the game, and add older age to that, it's not going to get any better, but it's just about learning and adapting. That's what it's about. Like, as I said earlier, just learning how to train for your body at that time of your life. So like, as I said, I'm 40 soon, so therefore I need to train. I can't train the same way I did 10 years ago when I was 29.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to train how my body reacts as a 39-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So it just doesn't mean I can't train hard. It just means I just need to figure things out, and take my time a bit more a lot of the times, and go from there,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, first weight. Bench is a bit rickety, but anyway, is what it is. Okay, so I'm gonna go 50 next, then 75, and then probably 100, but we'll see. Can you do me a favor, quickly? Can you get me the clips for the thing in there, please? Thank you. We'll see why in a minute. Do you know why? I like putting them on here so I can...
the distance.
Yeah, and it's just like psychologically.
Yeah.
Thank you. psychologically, I don't know, just having this, I just like that feeling.
Yes, something to hold against.
Yeah, or feeling, I don't know, it just makes me feel a bit more secure in the dip. I can't describe it. Definitely all mental, but sometimes mental is what you need. Alright, cool. Now we're set. It feels good.
What's your preferred distance?
I think it's about 47.
Okay.
Like 45 definitely feels too narrow, and 50, after my injury, we've discovered it's too wide. So the distance is really, really important, because it makes you sort of more or less efficient, dependent on whether or not you can get it right. And I would say that's a bit too wide for me. So somewhere in the middle lies the truth, probably about there.
All right then. 75. See. Warming. Feels a bit heavier than it should, but it's how it goes sometimes, isn't it? I don't know if I'm going to be doing more than 100 today for an RP7, so we'll see. But yeah, happy to be out here in the sun, training, can't complain at all. Sometimes if I know I'm doing 100, 75 will feel hard. But if I'm planning to do like 140, 75 won't feel hard. Like, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's
like
true,
sometimes
actually,
when the goal is further away, like the lighter weights feel easier, but when the goal is like a bit nearer, a bit lower down, closer to 75 essentially, then the 75 feels heavier.
Right.
But like a lot of it is just up in the brain sometimes, you know. Like if you know you got to do a big one, like if I'm trying to go 145, 150, then I need 75 to move light. So like mentally I think of it differently. But today I know I'm not going to be going that heavy, so 75 is feeling heavier than it should, because I've allowed it to feel heavier than it should. So a lot of it is in here. That's what I think anyway. So I don't think like I'm necessarily much weaker than I was. And yeah, I haven't been training consistently, but I think a lot of it is just in here. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm only doing 100 today. So mentally I'm not in the mode where I'm like looking to just destroy everything. When I'm trying to hit 145, I'm in destroy mode. Every weight is getting moved easily because I need it to move easily, because I need to hit something big. Whereas today I'm like, week 2 program, off season, just after comp, a bit more relaxed, not really bothered whether 100 moves easily or not. So I think the mentality of it makes a difference to how the weights feel.
Does it feel harder training in the heat?
Yeah. I feel like at any time, I think this is the very first time I've ever trained like street lifting, like weighted reps, like this heavy anyway, in the sun. Like I've trained on holiday before, but it was lighter weights. And I think a few years ago in the Philippines, I did a bit of weighted, and I did 125 for the first time in a gym, but it wasn't open. It was under a roof. So even though it was hot, I think it was like early in the morning as well. It was like 8 a.m. I think it's what time now, 2 p.m. Sun is like it's going in now, going behind the clouds now, but it feels super hot. So I've never actually done weighted reps in direct sunlight like this, but I can't complain. Even if I ain't feeling as strong as I normally do, I'm still smiling, you know. Like how often are we going to get to do this? Do you know what I mean? So, and if you're like in London in the park, you got to carry all of these weights, even on a sunny day to a park, is a myth. So, you know, and this rig was built for this. This is what it was built to do, you know. So, yeah, going back to your question, yeah, it does feel a bit different training in the heat, because it's another thing, it's another variable that's different to what I'm used to right now. But yeah, I normally find that if I train in the heat for a week and a half, I get used to it. So it's just like acclimatizing to the feeling, to, you know, obviously sweating, feeling hot all the time. Just obviously like just drinking a bit more water, staying hydrated. But bro, you see the smile on my face? Yo, I don't even care. Like, I love this. This is what I was built for, training in the sun. So yeah, hopefully we can do this again next year, even on a bigger scale, and with the rest of the Kultured Strength team. Yeah, should be big.
Okay, that felt better. A lot better. Is that depth?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now we have our width, or a distance, and yeah, that felt much smoother. It feels like I could go up in weight. Whereas, based on the previous round, I was like, no. So yeah, that's exciting.
So if I did feel heavier, I don't want to jump straight to 100 because it's going to feel mad heavy if I jump to 100. So I'm just kind of trying to prepare my body slowly. So 90, I'll count this as a first round, but then I'll go up next one to 100. Sometimes I'll do that. I don't want to be doing hella rounds, because if I do this as another warm-up, then I'm going to have to do 100 for those rounds. So you know what, I'm going to use this as my first round. Hopefully, body becomes accustomed to that heavier weight. Just got to get my body and my mind ready for this weight. Anyway, we're going to move it nice and easy now. RP7. Yeah. Tough. It's mad because like a few weeks ago I was hitting 120 for free comfortably. And now this is feeling mad. It's crazy. But anyway, that's how it goes. That's how strength works. You know, the goal of the vlog is to show you, how you can go from feeling super strong, like you can push anything, to feeling like, whoa, like the weights I was doing a few weeks ago, like felt like nothing, and now feeling like, feeling substantial weight. So, but that's just the way it is. And as an athlete, you got to kind of get used to that, like get used to the fact that you can't perform at the highest level all the time. There's going to be times where you're off, and then you got to build up again to the point where you peak again and you feel strong again. And I feel like a lot of people don't realize that, but this is the reality. So it's like you can't get frustrated, or you just almost got to accept it, and just work hard to get, work hard off season, lighten the load. It's okay. Doesn't mean that you can't do it. It just means that at that time you can't do it. You need to hinge more. You're like this, and then you're going down like that. You're not like you should be kind of creating a little bit of a hinge, and then coming back up. You're like this.
Yeah.
Then that.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why you can't hinge properly.
Yes.
Because this is completely hit. So you need to be hit. If you look at like Nadine, for instance, Nadine Hettinger, like the best dipper in the world, right now for women. in my opinion, controversial, she hinges too much. But technically it's allowed, right? If you look at, like when I look at her dip and I look at the distance her shoulder moves in comparison to the distance her hip moves, the shoulder moves a lot more than the hip. But her hips do move within the rules. So technically it's a legal rep. But at the same time, I think it needs to be a limit. Like, because if your shoulders are moving that much, and your hips are moving that much, there's a hinge. Like if there's no, like, your shoulders and your hips should move the same amount if there's no hinge. And if they're moving, like the shoulders are moving double the distance the hips are moving, it's a hinge. There are some loopholes that certain athletes are taking advantage of, rightly so, because it's within the rules. I'm not saying they're cheating, absolutely not. They're doing it within the rules, which is absolutely fine. But my personal opinion is that, you know, I don't really see it in the men's game, but definitely in the women's game, I do see a lot of dips that I would consider hinging, and I just feel like that needs to be looked at. But anyway, that's just my opinion, innit? Damn.
That looked hard.
That was hard.
That looks slightly harder than RPE 7.
Yeah, maybe like RP 9, 10. Yeah.
One more rep in the tank, yeah?
Yeah. Don't even know if there was one more rep in the tank. I feel like this bench is slightly too close as well.
Yes, you can't get proper like.
I was like my feet were hitting it on the way back. So yeah. It's mad. The other day I was doing 95 in the gym for triples. Like, it was nothing. It felt like RP 6, 5, 6, I remember. And I was like, I think that was my deload week, like my taper week before comp. So before comp I was doing 95, like it was, like, felt like nothing. You know, 3 weeks later, can barely do it. Absolutely crazy. I did 100 last week, I can't go down.
Well, 100 was RP6.
Yeah, 100 was RP6. Yes, I did 100 last week.
I should check what I did. I don't know what I did last week. I should check, but I think I'm going down.
Yeah, I did 100 last week. 100 last week was RP6. 100 this week is RP10. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm just embracing the holiday mode too much right now. But yeah, as I said, just enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. How often do you get to train in this? Like, I can't even be upset that I'm weak. I'm just happy to be here, you know. We go back to London next week, things will be different. Things will be different. Yeah. So all you man that are trying to catch me, don't get too excited.
Going back down to 20 to try a bit more hinge. I kind of feel like, you know what, like this is what off season's all about. Like, off season's all about, you know, these little tweaks, which can be frustrating because sometimes you've got to go backwards to kind of go forwards. You're trying to improve things, and in trying to improve things, you know, you're going to get things wrong as well as get them right. We'll see what happens, but for right now, back down to 20 with more hinging. Maybe cameraman can let me know if he sees more hinging.
Just half an hour.
Before we go?
We need to go, yeah, otherwise we're not. It's going to be too tight for us to go there and get back.
That's alright. I think I'm on about round 4 or something now.
What's the rush?
Food.
Pistachio croissants. Is that any hinging at all?
No.
Ah! There wasn't any hinging. No hinging at all. That was me trying to hinge. Okay, sun is shining, I'm getting a tan. You know, that's the win here. It's not my technique, but it's my tan.
Back down to 90, because that was not RP7. I mean, To be honest, would 90 be RP7 right now? Probably not neither, but it's definitely not RP10 like 100 felt. So anyway. Better. No words. Probably not the best decision to trade in the middle of the day when the sun is at its highest point. I'm blaming that. I'm blaming that the sun has charged my Mendelin too much. And now, you know, like when you charge your phone too much and it's not optimum. That's what's happened to me. I'm overcharged. So that's why like the power's not there, innit? I've absorbed too much sun, and now like it's actually fatigued me. You know what I mean?
Law of diminishing returns.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm just overcharged right now. So
Too much vitamin D.
no, there's never too much, but too much. You know what? It's because my body ain't absorbed it. And it needs time to absorb the vitamin D. Because it's not too much, bro. I never say there's never too much sun for you. For me anyway. Like, don't claim me on that. I don't want anyone to get sunburnt because they said Jomei said there's never too much sun. Alright. Last one. Yeah. I blame the narrow bars too, just a disclaimer before I go.
Anything else you want to put in? We've got sun, narrow bars.
Yeah. And there's the rickety bench as well. Yeah, not ideal either. Yeah. So I feel like I use so much energy to stabilize it that when I get on the bar, I just got no strength left.
You're compromised, Sensei. You are.
Compromised. All right. Hiss! Hiss! Easiest set. Nice.
Yeah, look, mate, way better.
Done. I shouted, that's why. I was too quiet before.
They went back though, didn't they? I saw them.
They did go back, but it's not necessarily. The problem is, I'm not saying it's not necessarily a bad thing. They go back on the way up.
Just not on the way down.
Just not on the way down. Like they are gonna go. I spoke about it earlier. You're gonna open. You're gonna lose shape on the way back up. I was going back when I did the 100. That's when my feet were hitting the box slightly. I wasn't going back a lot, but I was going back slightly because it was heavy for me today. Shouldn't have been. But yeah, so like on the way up, I'm not too concerned. Obviously, I don't want, as long as you got control of the plate. But it's on the way down. It's that essentially it's that creating this to then do that. Pause reps, 2 reps, 2 second pause, and yeah, slow out the bar. Pretty simple. Last day in Italy. It's been fun.
Yeah, it's been so much fun. Do you think it's been more fun than you thought it was going to be?
100%. I was actually excited about the road trip that never happened, but partially, actually now I'm glad I didn't go on the road trip.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Where was the road trip supposed to be?
I was supposed to drive Jamie that made the bars. Obviously he made them in Kent, and originally the original plan was for me to drive with him from London to here with the bars. But he came with his son instead, so I just ended up flying over here. But I was looking forward to that road trip. But having heard his experiences of the road trip, I just felt like it would have been, just a bit of a headache. So yeah, I'm actually glad I came by via airplane. So I feel like him riding, he already had enough grief with the customs and stuff. Him riding with a black man with dreads,
Yeah,
I feel
think
like
you
would have
actually got
been
more, you
would have been more stress.
Yeah.
So actually, it's probably a good idea I didn't go with
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And he just sees like them seeing the kid, the son as well. Probably like, oh yeah, like
Yeah, like it's the father-son thing.
Yeah, yeah.
At least it like, yeah.
it just looks less dodgy.
Whereas like you two on tour.
Yeah, exactly. You know it's true, Crescent. Worst experience. I was like, I'm never going to Italy again. And then this came on. So, well, I guess I'm going to Italy again. People refused to serve me, all sorts. Oh, yeah, it was bad. Like,
Whereabouts in Italy?
Milan.
Oh, in Milan, okay. And why were you there?
I was just working.
Oh, it's for work.
Yeah. Within the 2 days, I probably had three unpleasant encounters due to the colour of my skin, which wasn't pleasant, to say the least.
Are you travelling on your own?
No, I was travelling with colleagues, and there was 3 of us. But to be fair, this time, I haven't had any bad experiences, so Switzerland seemed different. I feel like Switzerland was a bit more multicultural. Even though we were pretty much on the border of Switzerland and Italy, I did notice there was a lot more variety of
diversity for sure,
that's
yeah.
the one, diversity. Yeah, I don't know. You didn't see. Basically, I was leaving the Lido, yeah, and some guy got outside, and this guy started running after me. This is some black guy with some dread, yeah. And he's like, yo, and I was like, what? He's some Jamaican man. He's like, yo. Just can't catch him, man, just to say hello, man. I was like, what? A Jamaican dread in the random city
He
in
worked there,
Switzerland.
right?
He worked there. He worked at the Lido. He said he'd been working there for 19 years.
Wow.
Wow.
I'd love to know that story.
I know. It must be a crazy one.
Like, what are you doing here, mate?
Like Lugano, some
Like random location.
posh city in Switzerland.
Yeah.
On the border of Italy. I guess there's worse places to live.
Yeah.
Right, last one. I'm devoid of energy, so. Whoosh! Sorry.
How's that?
Done. It was probably easier than the first round, but still felt horrible. Right elbow's a bit sore now. So perfect point to end. Close more. Close as much as you can on the way down. Close as much as you can. Yes, explode! That's it, there you go.
Oh, I've got my traps.
That's how you
For the
supposed to do
first
it.
time.
Yes. You gotta think of like closing as much as you physically can on the way down. And then
closing here
yes, sir.
and not closing here, because otherwise it makes me like
No, closing here.
closing
All
here.
of it. Closing it. And then unleashing the power. So that is a wrap on training today. It's our last day here in Italy. We'll be going back home to London tomorrow. So yeah, we're gonna have a nice little dinner tonight, maybe have a few beverages, if you know what I mean. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. So the next time you'll see us will be in London doing who knows what. But until next time, peace.